Hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm your girl Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Purr. I am not drinking anything. I didn't go grab anything to drink. I wasn't really that thirsty, so I didn't get anything to drink. I probably should have though, because I got a lot to talk about. So I probably should have. If you see me drinking something in the middle of this podcast, just know I wouldn't grab me something to drink. But I got my cup mug though. The most important. And since it's just me, panel full of cup mugs, panel full of cup mugs. Beer. Boom. Traitors edition. I know. Y'all like I did that. And we are here talking traders. And you can get your cup mug or any of our beautiful cup merch at lanagscreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. You see it scrolling across. And we do ship internationally and domestically here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, so there are no excuses. I mean, your postal service could be moving a bit slow, and that's okay because, it's fine. Sometimes that happens. But just know a delay is never a deny. You will get it, just not right away. It'll happen. It'll come. It'll come. But yes, we are here talking all things traders. It was the finale. We got the finale. We're going to talk about the finale. We're going to touch on the reunion. All of that is going to happen. But before we jump into it, y'all know what to do. We are on a mission here to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year because we are trying to unlock all the fun things that we can once we hit 1,000 subscribers, and we want to share that with you. So we're trying to do that. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and hopefully, if you all will just sorry, if you all will just do that, subscribe to the channel. And that would be amazing. That would be absolutely epic of you. And I would appreciate it very, very much if you did. But subscribe to this channel. And you can also subscribe to all of our other channels. We have 3 other channels you can subscribe to who are also doing their own mission, trying to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So join if you're a fan of drag or drag race, you should follow us at the Cup Pod. We want to get 1,000 more subscribers by the end of the year. That would be great. And if you're a fan of Eurovision Song Contest, it's really heating up and popping off on that channel. So you definitely want to go check that channel out if that's your zhuzh, if you're a fan of that. At the Cup ESC, there's a lot going on. They are definitely trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We see y'all watching those videos, but we need the watchers, the looky-loos, to become subscribers. We appreciate that. Join us on the ESC channel and our Ringside channel, who we focus on WWE wrestling. We would love to get 1,000 subscribers too. So check all those channels out if that's your judge. Subscribe to it. We appreciate it. Do it for me. Do it for all of our other panelists. Just do it. We appreciate it. It would be so great if you did. We also have our audio. All those links will be in the description below, by the way. So check out our description below to get all those links. Our audio podcast links are down there as well, so you can check that out if you need to check us out on the go. And our Patreon link is down there as well if you want to join us in our Patreon, so you can see all the things we do behind the scenes, get to know the panels, our panel a little bit better, see what we're doing when we're not talking about Traitors or Drag Race or Eurovision or Elimination Chamber or Road to WrestleMania. Check us out on that. The Ringside channel. Oh, not the Ringside channel. The Patreon is there, so check us out on all those things, and we appreciate it. So enough jabber. Let's talk. Let's talk finale, because y'all, This was interesting, to say the least. Um, I okay, so I was wondering what they were going to do with why they gave us that cliffhanger last week with the last vote being on Brittany and her deciding if she was going to swap her vote to Danielle or, stick it out with and vote Ivar. And so when we saw Danielle and, well, Dolores and Brittany exchange that look, or what we thought was Dolores exchanging a look, um, um, I knew then the way Brittany reacted, I was like, oh yeah, she did it. She switched it. But why do we leave that on a cliffhanger? Why is that? To me, that just wasn't. I don't know. It felt obvious at that moment what happened. Um, but they left us on that cliffhanger, and I don't know. It, I didn't know. I didn't understand the reasoning for the cliffhanger, to be honest. But we then come back, and Brittany reveals her vote, and she votes for Danielle. And Danielle is banished from the castle. Um, and when she did it, Danielle's reaction was like, "Oh, you did it again. You did it." And Brittany was like, "No, no, that's not what I was doing." And honestly, I don't think it was Brittany's intention to go and screw Danielle over again. Like, well, screw her over like that. I think she thought about the fact that Danielle did have a lot of heat on her. And in that moment, she maybe thought Dolores did make a suggestion, like an eye gesture. Because it looked like she did in the show. But I don't know if it was just, I don't know. I don't know if it was just seeing what Brittany wanted to see. We saw what we saw, and it looked like she did, but I don't know. See, this is my thing. If I don't want to do something and I don't want to, I can't write somebody's name down, even if it's not going to save them, I'm just not going to do it. And even if I don't know if my vote matters or it means anything or if it's going to save anything, I just wouldn't do it. Because it's like, I don't really want to do that. So what's the purpose of doing it? And if it is what it is, if it doesn't save it, it doesn't save it. That person will just know that I had their back. Like, if that was my purpose, to show this person that I have their back, I'm going to do that regardless. And when she voted for Danielle, and Danielle's response was, "Oh, we did it to me again," and she started crying about, "No, no, no, I didn't do that. That's not what it was." I believe all of that was genuine. I do. I think those genuine feelings were coming out of Brittany. It's some things I didn't like, and we'll talk about that later, about the reactions of everything. But Danielle does kind of, I will say she did kind of throw Brittany under the bus when she left. And it was like her speech, her exit speech was kind of like, "Everybody, this was great. I love you. I did this. This was wonderful for you. You're amazing." And then she gets to Brittany and it's like, wow. It's like, hmm. And if I was a faithful, I would sit there and be like, what's that mean? And to come to find out that she was indeed a traitor, I would definitely be like, oh, well, why did she give up, you got this. Wow. Everybody else got, I love you. You mean this to me. I meant what I said to you. We're great. And I will say this about Danielle. I don't care what other people think about her. She was one of, she was messy, she was wild, she did a lot of stuff that maybe some people would think is not good to do. Honestly, she ate up as a traitor because people, even when they thought she was, they would kind of be like, ah, nah, she's not. Nah, nah. They would push it away. You would think it for a minute and they'd be like, oh, no, that can't be true. For a while, for a long time, people did not think she was a traitor. So I think she did her job. She was all over the place. She was chaotic. Um, but I still think she was a darn good traitor. And for those who just didn't like her because of the Carolyn situation or whatever, that's whatever. You can choose not to like her or whatever. But you cannot say she didn't play this game. And any gamer understands and knows that she played this game. Even as messy as it was, she played it. And then y'all getting personal and talking, getting real undertone microaggressions and racial and undertones. We see you out there. And I know what that is. So I don't even need to address y'all because y'all ain't worth the energy because we know what that is. But if you don't like her because of her gameplay and that's all it is her gameplay, you're like, I don't like the game she played, that's fine. That's fine. But when you're getting mad at her for doing something, the same thing other people did, like, okay, all right, we know what it is. But I think she was a great trader. She did a really good job at convincing people that she was all over the place. And I saw the method to her madness. I saw the vision. I saw what she was doing. Because if you saw Danielle play in Big Brother, you know what kind of player she is. That is not her. She is not that chaotic, that messy. She's very, straightforward, observant. She everything she does has a purpose. And even in this mess, it was a purpose. It was method to her badness. And I applaud it. She is still one of my favorite players from Big Brother. You could never make me hate her. You can never make me be mad at her. You can never make me say anything bad about her besides the fact that she played a messy game. And that is it. She is still one of my favorite all-time Big Brother players. And I will rep that too. I will die on that hill. Period. One of my favorite Big Brother players to never win the game. She is one of the greatest Big Brother players to never have won that game. And the fact that they had to change everything because of what she did, absolutely. The game changed. She's a game changer. Period. And I don't care what you think about her trader run. Mm-mm-mm. And to everybody who's like, don't bring any more brother players on, and they're weird or challenge. Bring them all because that's what makes this show. That's what makes this good. Did I think this season was one of the best seasons? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I didn't personally think this was one of the best seasons. I just feel like I would love to see the U.S. traders do more regular, just seasons with regular people, not just reality stars or mix and match. But I'd rather see just regular people do traders and then a celebrity season of traders. Like, let's do both. Let's not do, just one because it's something interesting when you just see people who are actually hungry for this money, who actually need this money. Not saying that these people didn't need it or wasn't hungry for it because they were, but it's a lot of preconceived notions about these people when they come to the game, and we'll talk about how they talked about that at the reunion also. But back to the game. So Danielle's gone. She is announced herself as a traitor. Brittany was crying. It was all a thing. They were like, "No, you're fine. You're fine. It's okay. It's okay." Um, Everybody else is happy because they voted for Danielle, and you know, she was a traitor. They got a traitor, and so they're like, "I don't know if it's another traitor amongst us. We don't know." But then Alan announces who is going to be the seer, and the person who got the money to be the seer was Brittany. And so Brittany is now escorted off and she's going to the bookshelf and she pick one person to see if they are a faithful, even though Brittany knows they all are faithful. She is the only traitor amongst them, but she does pick Gabby for her dinner date, and they Gabby comes in before Gabby comes in. Dylan is already like, listen, if she comes back and says, if Brittany comes back and says whoever is going in there is a traitor, he was like, this is going to be interesting because I don't know about Brittany. I think what Danielle said makes me believe she's a traitor. She felt like, wow, this is personal. This was something like she didn't expect this from Brittany. So I feel like Brittany could be a traitor in this situation. So he's like, we'll see. So then when Gabby gets called to the back, he's like, listen, if she comes in and says that Gabby is a traitor, we don't trust her. We don't trust her and we don't trust Gabby. We get rid of both of them. And Dolores and Ivor was like, yes, absolutely. Absolutely, we don't. And in that moment, I was like, okay, Dylan, gameplay. That is a gameplay and that is a game move. Because honestly, if that is the case, if you are the seer and you see somebody as a traitor, you get rid of both of them. So you know for sure that one was telling the truth and one was, you just have to at that point because you don't know who's lying and who's telling the truth. Um, it just is what it is. And so they they go on and Brittany have her date with Gabby and come to find out, of course, that Gabby is a faithful. And Brittany was like, okay, good to know. I'm relieved. I'm very relieved. It's good to know. That way I know if I'm with you, we are faithfuls and we can share this money, da da da. And it was all good. They were like, okay. And so now Brittany has to decide what she's going to do, what she's going to tell the group, because she is the traitor. And she has to try to get somebody out. And she doesn't want it to be her. So she has to figure out her plan. So we go to breakfast the next day. Everybody comes in for breakfast. And honestly, it's just when they come in, it's like, okay, so what's the story going to be? Gabby is nervous that Brittany's going to tell everybody that, hey, she's a traitor, knowing she's not a traitor. And then Gabby is now going to have to figure out how to convince people that she's not a traitor. And it's just not good. Brittany says, okay, let me just say, I've been suspicious of Gabby for the longest time, and that's why I pulled her. And when I looked at her card, it said that she was a faithful. So Brittany went the faithful route and didn't want to tell anybody that she wasn't going to lie because it wouldn't have benefited her game anyway to lie and say that Gabby was a traitor because she would deny it and neither one will be believed and they will just eliminate each other, and it's like, okay. So um Dylan is now convinced, but he's not convinced. He's shocked. He's kind of like, oh, this is not how I thought this was going to play out. I thought it was going to go like she would say she was a traitor. We'll go back and forth, and we'll just eliminate both of them, and we'll know. Now things has gotten a little complicated because now we just have to figure it out because we don't know. Are all of us faithful? Is one of us a traitor? What happened here? Um, we find out that so they start talking and they're starting to piece together what is actually going on. Well, who do we believe? Who do we trust? Who do we not? And we see Brittany going on her mission because she talks to Dylan and she's telling him that she's faithful. She's glad that he's there. Blah blah blah. She's trying to fill him out, and he kind of gives it away, kind of that he doesn't really trust her. because he mentioned what Danielle said. He was like, Danielle said this about you, and instead of giving you good things, she gave us all. She just said wow to you, like were the last person she would think would write her name down. And so in that moment, Brittany knew that Dylan was not with her, and Dylan was definitely going to be coming for her. So she was like, okay, well, how do we fix this? How do we? She was like, how do I get out of this one? So now she knows her sights need to be set on Dylan. And she goes and starts her campaign of just put little seeds out there about Dylan, like, did you see how Danielle was like pleading to him? Was like, I can't believe you did this. Like, she kind of felt like she knew he would never turn on her. Like, he said, like, this was something that shocked her. So maybe he is a traitor on traitor. That was a traitor on traitor type of deal. I can't believe, you would do this. It just felt icky. It just felt, it just felt like she was like, I don't know. I don't trust it. And Gabby was listening. She was like, yeah. She was like, he just started acting weird since the mission. Like, he's come back. He's been very weird and very, like, I don't know. So Gabby's listening. She's like, yeah, I kind of see that. We see Ivar and Dylan talking, and they were like, it gotta be. And Dylan was like, wait a minute. One thing I didn't think about. What if Gabby and Brittany are traitors, and they made concocted that story that's to say that she's a faithful, to show she's a faithful, and I was like, it could be. So Dylan was like, I'm pretty much sure I'm be voting for Brittany at this point. I'm not. We'll see. I think so. And so Ivar was like, yeah, that makes sense. Ivar was ready to do whatever Dylan told him to do at this point. Like, he was listening to whatever Dylan said, and he was going to do what Dylan said because he trusted Dylan to be the faithful. He still had his reservations about Dolores, but he was definitely just thinking like, I am a faithful. It is what it is. And he thought Dylan was a faithful, and he wanted Dylan to take him to the end. And that was his goal. That was one of his goals and purposes. Like, I want to get to the end with Dylan. Dolores comes in and has the same conversation with Brittany and Gabby that Brittany just had with Gabby. And she's listening. She was like, I just feel like something is off. Something is different with Dylan. It doesn't feel right. And how Danielle was pleading with, like, you can't do this. Like, you have to trust me. You know me. It just felt like it was very personal, and she felt betrayed by Dylan. And Dolores was like, yeah, she did say something like, how could you do this? You can't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Something like that. And so Dolores was listening too. And at this moment, I thought Brittany had a good case going her way. Everything was going well. So then they go for the mission. And the mission is that they will get this scroll, and they will have 30 minutes to figure out where to go. Well, the clue will lead them to a place. And if they go to the right place, $25,000 will be waiting for them. And then 25,000 will be waiting for them, and some cars. Some luxury cars that are just have that needs to come back to the castle. And so Alan has instructed them on what they need to do to get it. And so time starts. They open the scroll, and this clue was like, you can't, like, not to be hunted. You can't hunt me. It's something that's not real. It's not real play. Something to the fact that this animal is not hunted, can't be killed, not real, and they have to find a place. And so they see Unicorn Valley or Unicorn Forest, and so they all feel that that is the right place to go. So they jump in the car and they head off to Unicorn Forest. make it to Unicorn Forest, see that that is the right place. They answer a question: how many traders and times, how many players were into the game times, how many traders were banished in 92, da 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 da. They get their answers, and so once they get into the thing, they see the money, they see the cars, they all jump, grab the bags of money, they jump in the car, each individual car, and they head on back to the castle. Once they get back to the castle, Alan lets them like, oh, I forgot one thing. You got the money, great. You got the cars, wonderful. But I forgot one thing. And then all of a sudden, the helicopter comes out of nowhere, and um, the helicopter comes up, and they're like, you're going to have to be in the helicopter and drop the money into a ring of fire, but you're not really in the helicopter, you're dangling from underneath the helicopter. And so you have to get in teams of two, and one person will have to go by themselves. Um, and if you put the money in the ring of fire, you will double the money. And once you get the money in there and it's doubled, it's great. you know, you get, if you hit the ring of fire, you have to hit the ring of fire in order to get the in order to get the to double your money. You have to land your bag into the ring of fire. Um, and so the teams pair up, and it was Dolores and Brittany, Gabby and Dylan, and then Ivor decided to go on his own. Um, so Dolores and Brittany goes first, and they get to they get up in the air. Both of them are screaming, just like oh 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 oh. But they get up in the air. They're flying over. They're turned all the which way around, and so they get up there first. They drop the first bags, and I think one made it and one didn't, or neither made it. No, neither one of them made it in the first one. Neither one of them made it in the first one. And then they're like, okay, we know what to do now. So the second one, they come back around, they drop it. Both of them make it. $10,000 is added to the bank. Um, and so then it was Ivar's turn. Um, he only gets one in, so 5,000 was added to the bank. And then between Dylan and Gabby, they get two in. Both of Dylan's go in, so 10,000 go into the bank for them. And so they end up with a grand total of $204,000 plus $204,000 in the bank, and they're very happy. But now, of course, the happiness has to wear off soon because we have to go into the round table soon. So now it's back to reality of figuring out who we are going to banish at this round table, and what do we do? So Brittany is prepared. She is ready for this. She knows she has to go after Dylan. And she's like, look, I got to do what I got to do at this point. Gamer's got a game. I got, she's like, crack my knuckles and, crack my neck. Let's do this. We're going to war. But boom, we got to do it. And she's prepared. She's very prepared for what she needs to say. She goes into this round table ready for what is to come and what Dylan is going to bring, because he she knew he was coming for her. and she had to be right. And I'm be honest, she kind of ate him up. I don't care what I don't care what the results say or anything else. She ate him up. And I don't honestly, I don't know what everybody else heard to make them go, I think it's you. Because what I heard would make me go, oh, it could be you. Now, I could just be naive. I could just be, you know, drinking the Britney Kool-Aid, but she kind of ate him up at this round table, and he wasn't prepared. He even said it himself. He was like, I brought a knife to the gunfight. And it was wild. It was wild to see or to watch Britney work in this way. Because we've seen, if you watch Big Brother and you've seen Britney on Big Brother, she is always, she can cut you. She can cut you deep. She can say some things. You be like, ooh. And usually her confessionals are where it's at. But we didn't really see Britney get into like full strategery. I got to get myself off, out of the line of fire here or whatever. She just kind of maneuvered in a way that she just made it. But this time she was fighting for her place, and she brought out receipts and things that could skew people in Dylan's direction. I felt like she was very well spoken, very well like, mm-hmm, this is the point, this is the point, this is the point. I think what did it is that every time she would do it, Dylan would be like, well, that tracks for you too. And the fact that they were going back and forth, and how, because their games were kind of parallel to each other, was very interesting. What I did not like, and I'm going to be honest about this, I liked Dylan throughout this game, but I didn't like how he was acting at this round table. Like, how dare he be questioned? You know what I mean? Like, how dare I be questioned in you calling me a traitor? I am faithful of all faithfuls. Like, you should know that. And it was a very entitled that he had with saying things like that to Brittany. Like, how dare you? Like, you coming for me? Of course, because you're coming for me. And it just felt like, oh, that was, which means she can't call you a traitor, you calling her a traitor, even though she was a traitor. But you were calling her a traitor, so she should be able to have the same, clap back for you. And he was acting very entitled in that moment, like, how dare you say that about me? Well, how dare you say that about me? And so that was the one thing I didn't like about Dylan in this moment, but I still like Dylan. So it was wild but it was so good to see this side of Brittany. I enjoyed it very much. It let me know and reminded me of why she is also one of like really a really really good player in the games, and a really really good player in Big Brother. And it gave me flashbacks to that. I'm like, yeah, missed that, missed that a lot. She kind of ate that up, but in the end, as well as she did, it didn't help because they still banished her and voted her out. Um, and they would not know until the end of the game if she was a traitor or not. So she just got up and walked out. And Brittany is gone. But I will say kudos to you, Mama, because you ate that round table up. There was nothing better you could have done because you kind of ate it up. You slapped. I was like, yes, here for it. Um, I loved it. It reminded me of why we love Brittany Haynes so much. Not just the confessionals, but because she is a player and she played really, really well. Really, really well. Um, but now it's time to go out to the pit fire of truth ceremony. And okay, I think Brittany did a really good job, but I will say I thought that this episode, the finale, kind of was womp womp womp. Be honest, I feel like it was kind of this ending was very anticlimactic. Because all the drama, all the things that happened leading up to this point, and it was like, okay, 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 oh, and it happened as soon as Danielle was gone. Honestly, to be like, it would have made this ending much more interesting if Danielle and Brittany were both there still, and they got Ivor out. It would have made more sense. One thing Brittany said that I agreed with the most: Danielle kept Dylan around way too long. After a while, it's time to let him go, and to make it where it's like that doesn't make sense. He was my number one. Why would I kill him? And people will believe that. Like, why would I kill you? Go have to kill your number one if they're faithful. You have to in this game, I believe. At some point. At some point. Um, but yeah, it was wild to see how how lackluster this ending was, because they take them all out to the fire of truth, and everybody's talking about why they want to win, and do they trust anybody? And everybody's like, no, I don't fully trust anybody, but I want to win. Blah blah blah. Touching moment was seeing Gabby talking about winning the money for her girlfriend and maybe getting married. That was sweet, but baby, this was the most anticlimactic finale part, the fire of truth I've ever seen. Like, uh, uh. So they all get the bags. You pick the green to stop the game, the red to continue the game. And they all pick green. First round. Everybody picked green. I mean, and it's great for them because they're all faithful. So they all won. Yay. Yay. So what? Like, okay, they won. It was so, like, honestly, I was like, But me personally, I am a fan of Traitors winning. I think the name of the game is Traitors. Traitors should win because they worked the hardest. But this just felt so. Mm, mm, like it didn't give. It did not give. But I'm happy for these winners. They deserved. They deserved. They deserved. But it was just so anticlimactic. This whole episode, besides once Danielle was gone. Whoop, not that. Once Danielle was gone, for me, I was like, okay, this seems very predictable what's going to happen, and what they're going to, what happens. And everything that we thought was going to happen, one thing that was going to happen. Um, and they won. And that's great for them. It's just, I wasn't that, I was so tuned in and ready for this finale just for it to be a little underwhelming. A little. But congratulations to the winner. And I don't have a whole lot to say about this finale because honestly, I'm be honest, y'all. I am not a fan of Andy Cohen, and I am not a fan of how he does finales. And I know everybody's like, "Oh, but the Housewives finales are all great. They're all good." Yeah, they're good for them. I don't like how he does finales. Um, I'm just not that interested in that, in his style of doing them, or the Housewives versions of finales, because it's always either it's gonna be super messy or super boring, and it's like it's no in between with me. Jesus, I keep knocking things over. No, I keep knocking it over. I am sorry, y'all. Um, but it's no in between with it. It's either so so full of drama. Drama, arguing, people walking out, all kind of stuff, or it's just very mundane and tame and just. I feel like he tries to cause drama and mess, even when there's none to be caused. Some few highlights that we'll talk about. The fact of Carolyn not feeling like Danielle respected her, and Danielle's like, "No, I do respect you. I just feel like we are just two different people and how we play the game and how we're doing things. Like, no, I didn't want to. I didn't feel like the way we worked together was, good. But do I respect you? Yes, I do respect you as a person. I do respect you as I respect you. I just don't know if our game plays mesh well. And that's fine. Honestly, I think that's fair. Um, I feel like a lot of things that were brought out after the game from Carolyn, I'm gonna be honest, I felt was unnecessary. Like, Carolyn was the one who suggested that Danielle told Brittany. That was not the truth. It was never true. And she knows she said it. And that's why when they asked about it, she was looking away like, girl, you said it. Um, Carolyn needs, to me, personally, Carolyn needs to stop acting like she does not use her quirkiness as a game piece. She said, I do that, but then get mad when people call you out about it. I don't understand. Like, that's who you are, yes. Is it genuine? Yes. But you still use it as a strategy in the game. So if you're going to use your personal and real authentic, self as strategy in a game, then you can't get mad when somebody calls you out on said strategy because you introduced that to the game and you took your quirks and all of your whatever and you brought it into the game and said, I'm going to play it up so people don't think I'm a traitor. And that makes sense. I would totally do it too. But then I can't in turn get mad and get butthurt and get my feelings hurt when somebody calls me out on it and says, or when you say, oh, nobody's listening to me. Well, how do you expect people to listen to you when you're always, all the time and you don't know? Yes, you know what's going on in your brain. They don't know. They don't understand that. That's just, it just seems so weird to me how people want to gaslight or infantilize Carolyn like she doesn't know what she's doing when she knows exactly what she's doing. She is using that to get further in the game. And if you go along with that, then that's on you, sucker. You fell for it. But don't get mad when people call you out on it, and don't get mad. And her fans getting mad at Danielle for calling her out, calling her Forrest Gump. Oh, that's horrible. You should say, call me Forrest Gump. Please call me Forrest Gump because I don't know about you, but I watched Forrest Gump, and because people underestimated him, he became one of the most successful people in the world. He got everything he wanted. Everything. He went to college for free, got a football scholarship, played there at one of the biggest schools, won championships, one of the biggest schools in the state of Alabama. He went to the Army, became one of the biggest, one of the war heroes in the Army because people underestimated him, saved people, made friends along the way, saved folks' lives, got medals of honor, went on to create the biggest stripping company in the world because of listening to what his friend from the Army was talking about shrimping and boats and all this stuff. And he was like, oh, I could do that for Bubba. I'm going to do it for him. And people underestimated him. And because he was the only one out here doing it, after a storm he became one of the biggest people in the world. Like, call me Forrest Gump so everybody can underestimate me and I still become the biggest person in the world. That is not a diss. Being called Forrest Gump is not a diss. Because, baby, please call me Forrest Gump. So I can be like, yep, and I'm going to do everything that I said I'm going to do, even though you don't believe in me. And do. And still got the girl. He got a child. and still was living in his house. It's and still the richest man, one of the richest people in the world. Like, come on. Not only was he rich, he was able to make his friends, family rich. Like, come on. I saw the movie. You ain't gonna tell me Forrest Gump is a diss. That's not a compliment. Yeah, the heck it ain't. It is such a compliment. Call me Forrest Gump all day long. I just feel like people are so trying to make Carolyn feel like, oh, she's such the victim. No, she's not, because she knew exactly what she was doing. She said it herself. I can see if she came to the game and was like, no, I'm not doing that. This is just me being who I am. But she said it herself. I am using my quirkiness and my kookiness as a strategy in the game because I know people won't think that I'm a traitor. And it worked. But then when she got into a tussle with somebody else who was also a traitor, who was now fighting for their lives in the game, she wasn't prepared and she got ate up. I'm sorry it happened to your fave, but it is what it is. And so for her to make it in this reunion, like, oh, people don't respect me and I don't feel Danielle respects me. And Danielle's like, I do respect you. I just feel like we play different game styles and that's just what it is. It's nothing personal. It's nothing like I don't hate you. I don't not like you. I just feel like we are just on two different, game wavelengths. And it is what it is. That's fine. It just felt weird. Another weird moment, another moment that I'll bring up is the back and forth between Brittany and Danielle. Brittany was like, we've only spent 3 hours before reindeer games together. Like, we didn't know each other. You make it feel like we've known each other for years and years and years. And I only met you one time before that. And then once we got into the game. So 3 hours before the game, we don't know each other like that. We don't know each other. And I can see that point. I can agree with that point. Like, you don't know each other. Y'all not friends of 20 years or anything like that. But Brittany then making it like I wasn't trying to backstab you. That wasn't my thing. I'm like, yeah, okay, she wasn't. But she did. And Bob the drag queen made a point. It's like, you didn't have to vote for Danielle if you didn't want to. You could have just did, even if you felt like Dolores was going to, you could have still just not did it if that's what you wanted to do, if you really wanted to do. But I think in the back of your mind, you knew, he was like, I think you knew that if you got rid of her, you'd be the only traitor left. And she was like, I mean, that was always there, but I wasn't trying to do that. That wasn't, like, my goal wasn't to go in there and throw Danielle under the bus. I just didn't think my vote would help. And Danielle was like, it's fine. It is. Do I feel betrayed a little bit? I felt it, yes. But it's no big deal. It's the game. She's like, I'm a gamer. I took it and it happened and it is what it is. I'm not mad. I don't hate Brittany at all. And she's like, but would I play a game with her? Would I trust her in a game? No, absolutely not. And and I get that too. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that because I think in this situation, Brittany didn't go out of her way to betray her like with the other show with Reindeer Games or anything like that. But even in Reindeer Games, I don't really think she went out of her way to betray her. She just made sure that she wasn't the one, left. And so, but people, some people like it. They take it that way. And when she was like, "I'm not gonna trust you again in a game," it is what it is. So Brittany just know if we ever in the game with Danielle, try to take her out. Danielle knows if they ever in the game together again, she got to try to take her out. Like, I doubt they probably end up in the same game again together. I don't think they will, unless they want to make this a thing. I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? Let's see. Another weird moment was the argument between Bob the drag queen and Dolores and Eon. Like, okay, not Dolores, Dorinda. I'm sorry, not Dolores, Dorinda. I was just like, okay, why? Because apparently Bob the drag queen said that why did they kill the reason he killed Dorinda? Because he don't know her. He don't like, I don't even know who she is. Like, I don't know her. And she got upset because Bob said he doesn't know her. And Bob is like, but I don't. And like, she was going on and talking. And Bob tried to interrupt. And she was like, wait, no, I'm talking. I'm talking. So he was like, okay. He let her speak and get her on point, and she was just like, I don't like how it was very negative and how you said you don't know me, and yada yada yada. And so now Bob was like, okay, now let me respond. And he was like, I don't know anybody. I didn't know anybody in this game. I didn't come in here knowing anybody, so I didn't know you. There's nothing wrong with that knowing you. You didn't know me. And so Dorinda is still trying to talk over Bob. And Bob was like, hold on, wait, pause. Because you remember how when you asked me to stop talking and I stopped talking, and now I'm asking you to do the same, like it's my turn to talk and you pause. And she just would not stop talking. She was just always interrupting, always talking. And he was just like, what we not gonna do is this, because just because I don't know you doesn't mean I didn't like you. I just didn't know you. We haven't. You were there for a minute, and I didn't know who you were when we first got there. I don't watch Housewives. I don't watch it, just like you don't watch Drag Race. So you had no idea who I was. It's okay with not knowing people. It's the fact that she was like, I just didn't like how you said it was so negative. He was like, it's not negative. It's just facts. I did not know you. And in that moment, I was like, girl, shut up. Like, please, Dorinda, please stop. Like, seriously, stop. You did not know who he was. He did not know who you were. And that's okay. And when they murdered you, he didn't know who you were. So it was no skin off his nose. Like, it was, it wasn't any personal feelings behind it. He didn't even know you to be personal. He didn't know who you were. And it's okay. It was okay. And then Neon jumps in and is like, Barbara's got rid of me because she's jealous of me because of all the clothes I wear and I'm so funny. How many people did I make laugh? And everyone's like, yeah, you made us laugh. And Bob's like, how many people did I make laugh? And so what? Everybody was like, yeah, you made us laugh. Like, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. But this whole thing, she was like, you're just so jealous of me. And you're just, I don't even know what planet Eon is from, honestly, sometimes. Like, honestly, girl. I fly on back to Dubai, do your thing over there, because it's I'm sure people live for her. I'm sure there are people who live for her. And she looked beautiful in her, like, gorgeous at this reunion. A lot of them look great. But it it just was like, it just felt very like, girl, no. Like, you just want more camera time. We get it. I get it. But for that argument, does Bob the drag queen have to be jealous of you for what? Y'all are two different entities, two different things. Y'all both fabulous. Just be fabulous in your worlds. It was just, I felt like that was such a ridiculous argument for the both of them. Well, for her to be mad at Bob, and especially Dorinda to be mad at Bob, and that was crazy. I'm trying to see what other things that stood out that I found to be interesting. I mean, we had a lot of different conversations. Wes was talking about how he was the greatest person on the show, and greatest um, reality show of all times. And now they were like, well, Boston Rob got you out, so he was like, yo, baby, he's the greatest to now. Whatever. They talked about how Boston, I thank God, Boston Rob finally admitted that he was the reason that the Traitors was such a mess. He was the reason. Him going after Bob the drag queen, that really started this whole cycle of untrust and dysfunction in the turn. It just did. It was a mess. It was a mess, and he started it. He absolutely started it. And I'm glad he admitted it, that he started it, because you started it, sir. It was bad. It was, oh, so bad. Um, let's see. Anything else that was worth? We talked about the Bambies. Okay, here's my thing about the Bambies. They were an exclusive group, but I think Gabby was more like, oh no, I don't like. She was so like when they said they were exclusive, they were like, no, 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 we weren't. We opened it up to everybody, and it was like, no, not really. Well, Wes was a Bambi at one point, honorary Bambi. Y'all talked in y'all little group. I think she just didn't want to make it look like they were exclusive when they really were. You know, it is what it is. Um, everybody, honestly, this reunion was as subpar as the season, I think, because it wasn't. I just don't like Andy Cohen. That's just a me thing. It's a personal me thing. I get it. I understand that, and so I don't. I'm just not gonna be one to be like, oh yay, Andy's hosting. It was fine. The reunion was fine. Danielle got an award for being the most of everything because she was the most. Dude, I think everybody's fine with each other for the most part. And the people who were just okay with each other are still probably just okay. But it was what it was. Shout outs again to the winners, Dolores, Gabby, Dylan, and Ivar. They won. That was great. Which meant in our draft, everybody had a person who ended up winning, but Jack is the overall winner of the draft because he had uh Gabby and Ivar. So congratulations to Jack for winning the Cup draft for the Traitors US. Shout out to you. Everything is great. You did wonderful. We all had a great season. It was a decent season. I will say overall, it was a decent season. It wasn't my favorite season. It's nothing like I would particularly want, but it was okay. It was okay. But that's that. I really have nothing else to say about it. We did it. It's over. We got winners. We got Traitors. We did it. And that's that. So thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. If you spent this out, this at least this little bit of an hour with me, I appreciate you. Please hit the subscribe button on your way out. We are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Share it with your friends. Let them know. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Subscribe to all of our other channels. All the links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links, our Patreon. You can follow us on all of our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. And you can get your merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. And with that, one more edition of Traitors is done. So for the last time, y'all, I'm going to head up to my turret and say, cheers, Traitors. Cheers.